Are you an entrepreneur who's just constantly running on fumes? Feeling stuck, right on the edge of burnout? Well, in this explainer, we're diving into Susie DeVilly's book, Buoyant, to uncover a really powerful idea. How you can trade all that exhaustion for genuine creativity and, believe it or not, actual joy in your work.
If you're running your own business, this probably sounds way too familiar, right? You're throwing everything you've got at the wall, you're working around the clock, but you still feel like you're just treading water. It is such an exhausting cycle, and it's all driven by this hope that the next magic bullet will finally be the thing that makes it all work.
But here's the core truth from this book, and it's a big one. There is no secret hack that's going to magically transform your business if you yourself are running on empty. The most crucial investment you can make isn't in another course or some new tool. Nope, it's in you.
Okay, so here's our game plan. We're going to start by breaking down that burnout trap so many of us fall into. Then we'll explore how to tap into your own inner wellspring of creativity. We'll look at how to tame that harsh inner critic, find a state of flow, and even learn to embrace resistance. And we'll wrap it all up by talking about how to build a business through joyful, consistent small steps. Ready? Let's dive in.
First up, we've got to understand the problem. So many entrepreneurs get caught in this loop of just nonstop work, totally convinced that being exhausted is some kind of badge of honor. We're all out there searching for that one perfect strategy, that magic bullet, but it's really just a myth that keeps us drained. And this quote from the book really just nails the solution. Look, if your personal well of creativity and energy is dry, no business strategy on earth is going to fix that. Building a life where meaning and joy come first isn't some luxury. It's the actual foundation of real, sustainable success. So how do we start refilling that well? Well, the first tool is super simple but incredibly powerful: journaling. It's all about creating a private, quiet space to reconnect with what truly drives you, away from all the noise of the outside world. Now, what's so interesting is how journaling actually works. It takes all those chaotic, looping thoughts bouncing around in your head, and it makes them concrete right there on the page. For instance, the book talks about a founder who felt completely blocked. Through journaling, she realized the pressure to constantly be on social media was her biggest energy drain. Just by writing it down, she gave herself permission to change her strategy, and that freed up her creativity for the stuff that truly mattered. Here's a super quick exercise you can try. First, just like you see here, ask yourself, what do I love? And just let whatever comes to mind spill out onto the page. No judgment. This helps create a compass for your core values. Then, on a fresh page, list your anchors. The tasks, the worries, the commitments that are just dragging you down. You don't have to solve them right now. Just naming them brings this incredible sense of clarity.
Okay, so once you start getting that clarity, something else often happens. As soon as a tiny spark of a new idea shows up, another voice pops up to try and stamp it out. Yeah, that's the inner critic, and it is one of the biggest roadblocks to making any kind of progress. And a lot of the time, this voice sounds something like this: you are not good enough. Or maybe it says, who do you think you are? Or someone else has already done this, but way better. It's this universal feeling, this really powerful internal narrative that kills our ideas before they even have a chance to breathe.
And that's the real danger here. This cycle of self-judgment, it doesn't just make you feel bad, it actively suffocates your creativity. It is the silent force that prevents your best, most innovative ideas from ever seeing the light of day. So, how do we quiet that critic and actually let our creativity thrive? Well, the answer lies in cultivating a state of flow. Science actually tells us that our best ideas don't come from forcing our conscious minds to work harder. They pop up when we engage our subconscious, often in the state of flow. You know that feeling of being in the zone, right? That's when the inner critic goes quiet and creativity just naturally opens up. And as you can see, here are 5 simple daily practices from the book to help you find it. Just 5 minutes of meditation to calm your mind and get focused. Something called morning pages, which is just 3 pages of stream of consciousness writing to clear out all that mental clutter. Some kind of movement, walking, stretching, whatever, to get your blood flowing and boost your energy. Moments of learning something new, reading a poem, watching a documentary, to spark new connections. And finally, making something with your hands, like cooking or drawing, to engage your brain in a totally different way. Now, closely related to that inner critic is this powerful force the book calls resistance. You know what? It's that nagging voice that says, don't even try, you'll fail. But here's the game-changing idea. Instead of seeing it as your enemy, we need to learn to see it as a guide. I mean, what a powerful reframe, right? Resistance isn't personal, it's a universal force, like gravity. And weirdly enough, its appearance is actually a good thing. It only shows up when something really meaningful is on the line. It means you're getting close to a goal that actually matters to you. So the next time you hear that voice saying, "This idea will probably fail," you can just translate it. Look at this comparison here. What that voice is really telling you is, this idea is important, and frankly, it scares me, which means it's probably worth exploring. So here's how you fight back in 3 really simple steps. First, name it. Write down exactly what that nagging voice is saying to you. Second, reframe it, just like we talked about. And third, and this is the most important part, defy it. Take one tiny, totally manageable step toward that dream today. The goal isn't to be perfect, it's just to get moving. And that brings us to our final and maybe most transformative section: how to build a business that's not just successful, but actually joyful. This is all about harnessing the power of play and the incredible magic of small, consistent actions. There's this fantastic story about the writer Ray Bradbury. When he was a kid, he got made fun of for loving comic books, so he gave them up. But after a few miserable weeks, he decided, you know what? He'd rather be happy with his comics than miserable without them. And that small act of rebellion, of choosing his own joy, kept him connected to his creative source and paved the way for his legendary career. That's exactly why reconnecting with what you loved as a child with play is so critical. Neuroscience actually shows that when we're relaxed and having fun, our brains make all these unexpected connections and solve problems in new ways. Joy isn't frivolous. It literally fuels the curiosity and resilience you absolutely need as an entrepreneur. To make this really tangible, try this before and after exercise in your journal. First, be totally honest and describe your before self, your current habits, your mindset, how you feel day to day. Then, really vividly describe your after self, the person who has achieved your dreams. What are their habits? How do they operate? This creates a super clear vision to start working toward. And that vision of your after self, you don't get there through some heroic act of burnout. No, it's built through the law of compounding. Every small, sustainable, joyful step you take each day builds on the last one, creating extraordinary results over time. Success is built step by step, not in one giant, exhausting leap. So this leaves us with one last, really crucial question to think about. This isn't about overhauling your entire life by tomorrow. It's about starting small, right now. What is one simple, maybe even joyful step you can take today to begin refilling your own well of creativity and energy?